welcome back. All month we've been focusing on the ingredients that's taking over your supermarket's fruit and veg aisle. Putting the sweet spin on the humble pumpkin is Krissy Gibson from Take the Cake. Good morning, Krissy.
Good morning, Simon.
You've handed me a bowl of deliciousness, which I will practice some willpower and wait.
Good man.
What are we making?
Man. Today we're making a warm pumpkin cake, and you are a lot more familiar with boiling cakes than I am.
Right, yes. As a nation, you mean, yes.
I am delighted with myself because I've boiled a cake today.
Right.
And I tell you what, this is beautiful. Now, we Yankees do love our pumpkin.
Yes,
I know
you
that
do.
Not all of you are as crazy about pumpkin as we are, but I think that the texture of a pumpkin pie, for example, can sometimes
put people off.
Yeah. So the texture on this might be more up your alley.
Okay.
It's beautiful. We start by, if you can't get your hands on canned pumpkin, and it's likely you can't, we just cook pumpkin by cutting it into pieces. We need 230 grams of cooked pumpkin puree. And it's really easy to cook your pumpkin. We did this a couple years ago when we made pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
You just boil it for about 15 to 30 minutes, depending upon how big your pieces are, right? And you scoop it out of the skin. And once you do that, you can mash it up. You see?
Done.
Easy peasy.
Easy,
I don't know
right.
if you can see that.
That's your pumpkin done.
You need 230 grams of it, okay? So then we take 90 grams of really soft butter, and we add 200 grams of white sugar to it, castor sugar or granulated sugar.
Okay.
We mix that up so that it's nice and fluffy. And then we're gonna add 2 eggs. Okay, we're gonna add 2 eggs and hopefully not have them fly all over the place.
No, they'd be well-behaved eggs.
So we're adding 2 eggs, and the idea is to blend it all really smooth. Okay, we should have a nice fluffy batter. Now, I'm gonna take that pumpkin. I happen to have pumpkin puree all ready to go. I'm adding just 15 mils of freshly squeezed lemon juice to that, okay? And I'm gonna blend that together before adding it to my butter. So once we've got that all set, we're gonna just scoop it right in.
All goes in.
Give them a nice whiz before we add our dry ingredients, okay? So the color is gonna change. You see that nice orange color?
Yeah.
Now, lastly, we're gonna add our dry ingredients, okay? And we're starting with 180 grams of self-raising flour. And to that, we're gonna add all of our autumn spices. We have kind of a lot of cinnamon, which I know isn't your favorite thing, but when you're using pumpkin, you'll always find cinnamon tagging along closely behind. This is a healthy teaspoon of it. So
it's a good bit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about 3 grams.
Okay.
We're also using a healthy teaspoon of baking powder, okay?
Yeah.
We've got 1/4 teaspoon of dried ginger, okay? There's no need to use fresh ginger in this. 1/8 teaspoon, which as you see isn't a huge amount, of ground cloves.
Wow, okay. Very Christmassy spices, cinnamon and cloves, isn't
To me, it's Thanksgiving spices.
Yeah, of course
to
it
you,
is.
it's Christmassy.
Yeah.
And here we have just 1/8 teaspoon of salt.
Okay.
Don't skip the salt.
Okay.
Now, what I'm doing with these dry ingredients here, I am blending them together, and the idea is we don't want any stripes, brown stripes in here. We want it all one color.
All combined, yeah.
So we're gonna add the dry to our wet ingredients.
Okay.
And once we get this mixed up, we're good to go, okay?
That's it, mate.
Yeah, you don't wanna overmix this, okay? When we're done, it's going to look just like this.
Okay.
Here's one that's prepared and ready to go. So, I did mention we're boiling this. Now, if you have a big giant pot at home, go for it. The biggest ones I have are right here. This is as big as I could go. So obviously I can't use a pan to go in that pot that's bigger because it has to fit in it. So ideally you want to use about I'm trying to get this back on again. Ideally you want to use about a 2-quart pan, okay? So if you have a large pot to hold your water that's bigger than that, that's fantastic.
Could you do it in a bain-marie, like almost like a big roasting tray or something?
Perfect, as long as you can cover it.
Yes.
And if you don't have a cover for it, you'll be using tin foil, and I'll show you how to do that.
Okay.
So here I'm using a smaller pan today, so I might actually get 2 of these.
Yeah.
Okay? And I'm going to put it in my pot because this is the pot that I chose. So I've got my batter. I'm going to go ahead and put it in, and I'm not going to use it all because I don't want it to overflow.
Okay.
Now, I filled it about halfway. Can you see that?
Yeah, so halfway, yeah.
Halfway, and now you want to take your tin foil to cover it, but you want to make sure that it's buttered, okay?
Ah, right.
So I've just buttered the center of my
Tin foil?
aluminium foil, yeah. I'm so proud of myself, I just said aluminium.
Instead of aluminum.
Instead of
well
aluminum.
done.
Ah, see,
Welcome to Ireland.
Yeah, finally, took me long enough. Now, I'm putting this in the water. We're going to boil it. If you use all of the batter, it's going to be 1 hour and 10 minutes, and you'll need all the time. This one is slightly smaller, so I'm going to do that for an hour.
So it's important as well the quantity of water in that pot. It's only halfway up the side of the tin.
Exactly. You don't want it to go over.
Yeah,
into
obviously, yeah.
You don't want to. You don't want it to flood the cake.
Okay, so halfway up. Okay.
So we're going to give that a while now, and you want to eat this warm. So once your cake is done, take it out of your water, and what you want to do is very carefully lift the foil off so that you don't get water inside your cake. If you find that the middle of your cake looks wet, it could be because of the butter, but if you jiggle it and you find that it isn't just looking wet, but it's jiggling around, put it back in for another 10 minutes.
It ain't done. Yeah.
This one has a bit of butter soaked on the top, and that's okay.
Yeah.
This one is done perfectly.
That looks perfect.
And what you do is you just scoop up a bit. You can scoop it straight into your bowl from the dish.
Like you've done here.
Like I've done for you. You want to eat this with vanilla ice cream and maybe some whipped cream.
Oh.
Let me know what you think of that.
I will. It smells beautiful. The ginger. Smell the ginger.
Oh, and you know what? There's one ingredient that I forgot to tell you about. This one isn't, you don't have to use this one. This one's kind of optional. You know how in a sticky toffee pudding you'll often find chopped dates?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so those are good in this as well. If you want to use the dates, use 3 of them. What I like to do is, after I chop them up, I mix them in a bit of flour, okay? And you would add those to your batter just the same way. I mix them in the flour just so that I can separate them better, and also the flour is gonna keep those dates from sinking to the bottom of your cake. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So you can use those if you want to, you don't have to.
Oh, Krissy, that is... well, I'm on my 3rd spoonful, Krissy. That is sensational.
You know, if you're hesitant about pumpkin pie, try
Yeah,
this.
that's a great way in, isn't it?
So good. I love this cake.
It's like melts in your mouth. It's absolutely delicious, Krissy.
And you
Great
see
job.
why you want to eat it warm.
Oh, yeah, a little bit of heat is gorgeous in it.
Absolutely.
Beautiful, great recipe as always. Thank you, Krissy.
Thanks, Simon.
Full recipe details are up on our website, or check out takethecake.ie for more of Krissy's stockus and additional recipes. Now, after the break, Huey Mon is here. Are you there, Huey? No, he hasn't arrived yet. Anyway, if he's not here, I'll eat more cake live for 3 minutes.